Welcome back. We are joined now with comedian Derrick Stroup. Derrick, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your comedy style and like how you got into comedy.
I've got a very ranty style. I kind of got into comedy probably 10 years ago. Bill Burr was the first guy that ever piqued my interest just because he had kind of an angrier, downhill type of comedy. I didn't feel like he was up there, dancing around punchlines and stuff. So I'm a pretty angry Southern comedian.
So ranty means you literally go on rants.
I go on rants. It is, I lose my mind on stage,
Give me an
actually.
example. Like, what are you ranting about tonight?
I can't stand hiking. And I go on a huge rant about, how I'm not going to walk around the woods for 3 hours and listen for a woodpecker and call that my weekend. And so, there's a lot of other angles, and I'm really good at just observationally giving people a different perspective. Being originally from Alabama and moving to Colorado, that's as close as you can get to real time travel. I passed decades, and so I have a lot of interesting, compare and contrast about where I'm from and the rest of the country. So
now, are these based on like real things that you're actually angry about, or is it for the sake of comedy?
That's a great question. When people ask me, they're like, how do you write? Like, do you go to a coffee shop? And I feel like my little thing that I do is I only write about things that trigger me emotionally, whether it be happy, mad, or sad, because then that's 50% of the work.
Oh.
And so when I'm talking about something on stage, it's genuine, because this is already something that made me upset or made me really excited.
Woodpeckers make you really upset, huh?
What is it?
Woodpeckers in the wood. Like,
not the woodpeckers. It would be the hiking. I love birds. Yeah, I got a couple bird feeders. Yeah, it would be the walking around the woods, type thing. And there's a whole bit to that. I feel like if you come to the show, you'll see that there's a punchline at the end of that is just a real zinger. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, now speaking of the show, so you are currently touring with another comedian, John Crist. So you're opening tonight and tomorrow, and you have your own show on Sunday at the Comedy Club. Tell us, one, what it's like touring with John Crist, and two, what we can expect from your portion.
Well, John Crist works clean. And so when I'm working with John, I'm 100% clean. Sometimes if I'm away from him, I might get a little edgier. I'm not a vulgar comedian by nature, but it was a transition working for a Christian, clean comedian. We just got off doing 42 cities throughout the country. But John's a powerhouse, and he has great crowds. He's sold out through this weekend.
He's got quite the following.
He does, and his internet presence is huge. And so, and he's a great guy, and I'm not just saying that to say that. He really is. So I'm really lucky, and it leads to opportunities like this, where I get to headline a great club here in Springfield, and that's 7 p.m. this Sunday. So I'd love to see people come out and see my Southern angry comedy.
See what it's all about.
See if you're angry about the same things
That's
he's angry about.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so you travel around a lot because that's just part of your job.
Yep, almost every weekend I'm flying somewhere, which has been one of the biggest changes in my life, because I didn't grow up. The first plane I'd ever been on took me to Denver 7 years ago. I was 30 years old. I'd never been on I tell people, I was raised by a man that if it was more than 8 hours away, we just saw that on TV. We didn't just hop on a jet and go look at palm trees, and so it's a really cool experience. I like flying, the convenience and such. It's just, it can wear on you after a while, for sure.
Talk to me about some of the cool places you've been.
Well, I just got back from New York City, and as a guy from Harvest, Alabama, that was completely mind-blowing. And every shop I walked into, as soon as I opened my mouth, they were like, where are you from? Or, hey, where are you from? But it was
Clearly
a really
not
cool city. Greenville, South Carolina is one of my favorite places I've been. I know that's really random, but that's a really great place. And I like doing comedy in Florida because it feels like vacation. And then I tell jokes at night, and then I wake up and I go sit by the ocean.
It's like the best job ever.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the beach. So I would say, going to those huge cities is pretty mind-blowing. Philadelphia, New York City, but doing comedy in Florida feels like vacation pay.
Do you feel like your audiences are different in different places? Like New York, are they harder on you? And Florida, everybody's on vacation, so they're all just like, you're funny no matter what you say?
Yeah, when I go to bigger cities, my comedy seems to hit harder sometimes because what I'm saying is so much crazier to them. Like I say, hey, not until I moved to Denver had I ever seen anybody pick up dog poop before. And people in New York City, they're looking around like, is this guy serious? Because I'm like, where I'm from, we just run over it with a lawnmower, And so stuff like that in bigger cities, sometimes if I do a small enough town, my stuff resonates so well with them, they can't find the punchline. They're like, this guy's my neighbor, You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and Springfield's this is the second time I've been here. I headlined this club last August.
Okay.
And I had an absolute blast. And I mean, it didn't feel much different than where I'm from, to be honest with you. I had a real connection, and so I'm excited to be back.
That's so exciting. Now tell people where they can find you online, continue to follow you, and then remind them again where they can see you, or when they can see you this weekend at the Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram. You know, ironically enough, my name's Derrick, D-E-R-R-I-C-K, Yells. Derrick Yells is my Instagram name, to give you a heads up of what you're getting into.
Derrick Yells.
And then you can find me this Sunday at the Blue Room Comedy Club, 7 p.m. If you shoot me a message there on Instagram, I got some comps that I can give out, so just reach out to me, and I'll help you out, and I'd love the support, and we'll have some fun up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
great.
much fun. Thanks so much for
Yeah,
being here.
thank you.
Yeah,
for being
thank y'all
here.
for having me.
All right,
I
best
appreciate
of
it.
luck this weekend.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, well, coming up on Ozarks Live, it's time for a live in-studio performance.
Patty Steele is with us after the break.